bicycle one.
Fat Tire.
Fat Tire. And it's New Belgium. And he and his wife owned it, and they got a divorce. He sold it, and now he's living some fancy free and bought a bigger car.
That was good. Now the wife divorced and take the house.
We take one home.
So you guys doing Half Moon Bay?
Yeah. Are you guys all in it too? I hope there's some wind, because if there's not, I'm pretty much host. I tried it last year.
I would say in the last 5 years, we've had 2 of those where there were no finishers.
Right. I was in one of those 2 years ago. That was in that. Yeah.
It's looking like it might be close.
It's going to be light. I mean, with my rating, it's got to be after the beam, and it's not after the beam right now. I mean, it's a southwesterly, like 6 to 8 knots.
What does a 92 years rate?
Huh?
What do you rate?
105. Yeah. If I can't get the kite up, I'm so screwed. I mean,
I think we all are.
Where did you throw the kite up coming up?
At the Fairlawn.
At the Fairlawn.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about 10 miles inside the Fairlawn. I went south of the Fairlawn. I saw you went north.
No, actually, I did go south of Southeast Fairlawn. And it was partly because I wanted to make sure, I thought it was going to be really light, and I wanted to make sure I could sail hot enough. Right. But I also remembered there was a lot of logs and stuff when I came back in 06, and I didn't want to go between the islands. Right. So I went ahead and I more often I went around. So it was a little bit farther, but and then I ended up having more of a westerly, so I was able to get the kite up early, which was great. That was great.
I was about 10 miles inside the Fairlawn when I threw it up.
Yeah, well, that's how it's normally.
I love the same place.
About the light bucket is normally where you can set.
This last race you
So this was a fun.
On the way back. Yeah. I had the spinnaker until I hit the bridge, and it was blowing like 25 with the bridge.
Yeah.
So instead of driving, I just took it down. I was going 7.5, 8 knots with just the main. You know?
I couldn't have got under the gate without it. I had full ebb tide, midnight, my boat is hauling ass through the water, and I'm doing 3 knots. It's like, come on.
Same for me, it was epic. It was epic.
Yeah, that's what I did. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Why is that?
Yeah, I was shining my light on my sail so you guys would get a picture for me. And you guys did. I was like,
Are you gonna do the moon, half moon
with moon shadow, you know.
with the moon shadow? I'm sorry.
It has that moon shadow spinnaker, you know. I have my light on.
That would have been perfect.
No, take a picture.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I would have. I'm so sorry. I was
didn't
feeling
think-
sick.
At the time, I didn't think about it. I was tired.
I was just thinking like, okay, now I need to meet Moon Shadow because he's a shadow. He's the only one that I haven't seen arriving. So I'm sorry about that.
No problem. I appreciate all the pictures.
Yeah.
You see the paths that everybody took, like how far these guys can just go straight out. Like, no way.
Well, I was triple reef that night. I went down to a triple reef, no main. What I did was I was double reefed with no jib up. About 11 o'clock, I talked to Taz. He was humping along, and I never got to that point where I was like, oh, I'm going to quit this. And I was like, stuff's going on. But you know, I was always comfortable with the boat. But then I took and when I had 2 waves, one came right over the top, just bailed right into the cockpit, and just every line was streaming out the side of the boat. And then I looked around at my VHF. It's like, oh, damn it, you know, because I hadn't used it for the last 2 hours. It was sitting on the compass pinnacle, you know. And so anyway, I took all my lines in, and now I'm cold, I'm tired. It's like, okay, you know, need the wind vane steering. So I took all my ropes, I wrapped them around all the winches, all the spare ropes, you know, got them all in, put the wind vane on, and you know, and I found a heading. If I went a little too far north, that boat would launch off those waves and bam, down the county. And if I went too far off, then it would, you know, get pooped. And I was tired of that. So I found just the angle where I sat there for about 30 minutes watching this thing just, you know, and I was just mesmerized by this wind vane. It's a great guy.
Isn't that awesome?
It is.
I've never used one.
It's cool. Oh, I tell you, the thing is just the momentum of the boat going off the wave.
To
to turn up the wave and then turn
Well,
down.
I've got I've got basically it's the Cape Horn, and so it comes through. There's a quadrant, and then the lines come from aft the cockpit to blocks to the tiller, and then back to captain.
I pulled down my foot, and then I took and I climbed up the sail out there, I got one line into it and got it in, pulled it in, and then I got the other line, pulled off my second reef and put it into it, pulled it down, and then put both lines, put both my reefs on, both my line, my reef onto my third reef, and tied it right to my travel. That way it booms out of the thing. And so then I took and then I went on down and went to sleep. And I took all my sails, all my extra sails, and just stuffed them between in the center, behind, not in my berth, but on the side, down on the floor. And just crawled inside, went to sleep with my remote right there, and a flashlight right there, and my personal reverb in my pocket, everything right there, Now I went to sleep, and I'd doze off, and then all of a sudden I'd come launching off a wave or get knocked down or whatever, and I'd pull up the remote. I saw 38 knots one time after, the big gust had come and knocked me down. I got the remote, and oh shit, 38 knots.
George said he saw 38.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see the wind for a day.
Yeah.
Because my only indicator's outside. I'm just going out there.
Stayed inside.
You're hunkered down below.
Yeah, I spent an hour, setting the course on the way back. And the wind stayed constant, so I'd get up, look around. No reason to go outside.
Well, there was twice I got up and I went around the boat with a flashlight looking for cracks and, any problems anywhere. No problem. Stuck my head out, looked at the sails, everything was good. Good, go back in, crawl back in bed. I was dry, I was warm, I was coming in, doze off. But then I got up in the next morning and all